I am so excited to show you guys this. This has been a long time in the making and a long time coming. And for those of you that were early adopters to Ivy's beta app, which came out in June, I believe, you may have had some experience with Ivy's mobile app already, but we want to make sure that you know everything that there is to know about our mobile app 2.0, as I like to call it. So first of all, Ivy's mobile app is available on your Google Play Store and the Apple Store. So whether you use an iPhone or a Google device, it does not matter. All you need to do is search for ivy.co and you'll be brought straight away and you can download it and log in with all of your information. If you do have any questions that come up during the course of this webinar, you can always ask a question using the Ask a Question section right over here. And we will do our best to answer all questions during the course of the webinar. But of course, if you do have any questions that go unanswered, you can always email your dedicated account manager by emailing support@ivy.co. So I would love to just wait a couple more minutes for a couple more people to trickle in. And, you know, I know it's Friday, I know it's noon already on the East Coast, but I'm really excited to share this with you guys. So this is recorded. If any questions do come up after the fact, you can also always just email support. But with that, I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into it. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to turn the video off on myself just so that our system to mirror my screen runs a little bit faster. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, fantastic. So first of all, the first thing I would love to do is just really articulate that Ivy's desktop version and Ivy's mobile version speak to one another in real time. So to show you how that works, I'm actually going to start with a stopwatch entry. For those of you that utilize a stopwatch, you know how amazing it is. You know that you have the ability to track up to the minute all the time that you're spending on a project. Even if you're not billing it, it's so important to know where you're spending your time on a project. And our stopwatch function does exactly that. So all I need to do here is click on the stopwatch button. And I'm just going to start this at 15 minutes. Choose a project to associate this time with. I have my fee. I can mark my hours as billable or not. Hopefully we're billing more hours than we are billing or not billing hours. And go ahead and set my time description. So let's say this is a client meeting. I can go ahead and click play and my stopwatch starts. You'll see it's green right over here in the top. However, what happens on the mobile app when you do this? So let's go ahead and log into our mobile app. And this is this screen. This is what the Ivy icon looks like. All I'm going to do is click on it and log in manually. You can also choose, especially if you don't remember, you can always choose to log in using the magic link, and that will basically send you a link to your email associated with your Ivy membership. But I'm simply going to log in manually with my Ivy username and password and click login. And today we're really going to cover all of the different functions of the mobile app and how you can take advantage of the mobile app while you're on the go. And one thing that I want to also re-articulate is that this is going to simply continue to improve and be built upon. And we are so looking forward to hearing your feedback about the mobile app because we want to make sure that you know how to use this properly and that we are suiting your needs as a business owner. Okay, so The first thing I want to show you is in the top right-hand corner, you see the stopwatch is going. That is the same stopwatch which we just set on our desktop version. So this is really a great tool to use if you are billing your time hourly and you want to, set the timer when you leave for a client meeting and stop the timer as soon as you leave the meeting. You can do exactly that. So all I need to do here is click on the stopwatch button. You'll see my stopwatch is going. I can either pause it or I can also simply log the time. And that's exactly what I'm going to do here. You see that the project is already selected. I have my designer rate selected. I can always change the rate if I need to, if I'm actually charging for travel instead. And what's really cool here is this little microphone button under the description. Anytime you see the microphone, that means that you have the ability to dictate your text, your dictate to type, essentially, is what it is. So what I can do here is, let's say I just started this as the client meeting, and I'm going to go ahead and dictate a couple more things. And what I can say here is client meeting to review selections for living room. Amazing. I don't even need to type that out. All I needed to do was dictate, and the text description is populated automatically. You can edit your rate if you need to. I can log it for today's date or another date. And of course, although I started out at 15 minutes, let's say, I don't know, something came up, this was actually 30 minutes, I can go ahead and edit that duration as needed right over here. Okay, so now I'm simply going to log the time, and boom, it's just like that. It's that easy. The mobile version speaks directly to our desktop version, and then the desktop version speaks directly to our mobile version. So with that, for those of you that have been on Ivy for a long time, and even if you haven't, it's really important to remember that Ivy is a project-based system. So everything that you're going to do will be within the project itself. These images are coming from the image that I added when I created the project itself. And I'm going to go ahead into my Madison Park project. And here, this is actually where you can see a total breakdown of the hours. The overview you see is that there's billable versus non-billable hours. And of course, we're always aiming to be billing as much time as possible, rather than having that non-billable hours and financials. This is exactly the ratio that I would prefer to see. Of course, that's not always the reality. But the important thing is that you are tracking and keeping track of your time. So what you can do here is on this project overview page, you'll see over here time billing. You can either go to manage, but I'm going to go ahead and click directly on the billable button. And this will show me exactly all of my billable hours, all of my time billing that I have logged for this project. So you can see over here all the different rates that I have logged, whether that's been through the stopwatch or just manually adding a time entry. And you'll notice and you'll recognize this top rate over here where it says the designer rate for today, which was 30 minutes and one second. That is the exact rate that we had just timed ourselves on. So what's great over here is you can actually break this down. This little filter button that I'm clicking on right over here on the same line where it said 59 hours, that little filter button will allow you to filter down this time billing section. So if you do have multiple people on your team, you can always filter by designer, see who did what, how much time was spent on that specific project. You can also filter it down by services, designer rate, designer fee. These are all the rates that I have associated with any time billing. And I can also see what is billable versus not billable. And it is so important for you to be tracking your time. I cannot reiterate this enough, because What we want to do with IVs really help you understand the profitability of your business, how much money you're making, how much time you are spending on specific aspects of a project, whether that is travel, whether that's admin work, design work, your client meetings. It's really important to understand where your time is being spent. So make sure to take advantage of this and log your time. So with logging time, it doesn't just have to happen via the stopwatch. You can always manually add a time entry. So again, we are in our Madison Park project under time billing. And all I need to do here is click add new entry. You'll see that I have my project, my service rate of the design fee is automatically selected. Once again, I have that talk to text microphone right over here, which I'm going to select now. Client meeting. And my rate is associated, and I can add my duration right over here. Mark your hours as billable or not and taxable or not. These are the defaults that were associated with this rate when I first created my designer rate. And I can simply log my time. Okay, so it is super easy to use. It is intuitive. We really want to make this an easy to use system and something that will really help improve the quality of your day-to-day so that you don't need to be spending your time on the manual administrative work. Okay, so we're in the project. What else can you do in the project? Let's go back to our overview. So a couple of things over here. The first, you have a call button and a contact button at the bottom. This is to call or contact your client directly through the app. So what I'm going to do with the contact button, I'm going to click it, and you'll see that I have an email pulled up directly from Ivy to my client, and this will send out of your normal email outbox. So it's just a shortcut if you are already in your mobile app to simply email your client or even to call them. Okay. So just like the project dashboard on the Ivy desktop will show you, this will show you your project details as well as what has been invoiced and your time billing. So what you can do here from the Madison Park project, you can go ahead, everything is project based. And initially for those of you that did sign up for Ivy's original beta version of our mobile app, you'll know that it was only purely focused on time billing and task management. So what I can do here with that task management is log and create to-dos. So what I'm going to do is simply click on the to-do section. Again, we are still in our Madison Park project, and I can simply add a to-do list item. This will populate to my Ivy calendar on the project. If I need to, I can always sync my Ivy calendar to my external calendar, like my Google, Apple, or Outlook calendar, so that you have that reminder. But I don't know about you, I'm always taking notes. I'm always writing random things down to remind myself of things to do. This is a really easy way to do so. So all you need to do is click on the to-do tab, add to-do. I'm in my project under Madison Park. I can call this, reminder to update Jen on status. Okay, I can assign it to myself or to someone else on my team and set a due date. So for me, this is just an immediate reminder. And I can add my description here. So what I'm going to do is, again, do the talk to text dictation and say, Jen wants to know what the status is with the general contractor. Perfect. And save it. And you'll see that this is now a to-do list item that is appearing under this project. Super, super easy. Okay. So outside of this specific task for the project, I'm going to go back into my Ivy home screen. And what's really amazing here is you can access things directly from the plus button. So Over here on the homepage, you're going to see all of my projects that I have open. You're also going to see all of my to-do list items specifically for this project. And I can click the plus button in the middle and shortcut to any of the things that I need, a to-do list, time entry, my products, or room measurement. Okay, so let us jump ahead to the product library, because the product library and the ability to add products on the go is one of the most requested features that we received for so long on Ivy. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and go to my product library. And as I mentioned, I am in a shared working space. My Wi-Fi is a little bit slow, which is why these images are not loading. But what you will see is that if I do click into any of these, the images are appearing. So they should, on your strong Wi-Fi, show as in almost like an Instagram feed of all of the products. This is your Ivy product library. So what's amazing here, let's go ahead and go through a couple of the different things that you can do in the product itself. So I'm going to click on this product. First of all, when you click on it, you have the image. That's amazing. But that little share button right over here at the top, you'll notice it looks just like other share buttons in any app that you could think of. I can send this image directly to my client. So if you're just talking, you're on the go, and you remember that there's a perfect piece, or if they ask you, can you remind me what it was that we discussed, you can literally just text it to them and they will have the image sent to them as a text message. So it's really helpful just to have that ability. But also, you can edit an item using that pencil button. You can edit an item on the go, whether it's pricing, whether it is that description. Again, you see over here, once again, the little talk to text microphone. You can edit the pricing if you need to, and this will update it directly in your product library. But what I actually really, really love and I'm really excited about in this product library is the ability to add a product on the go. And one thing I do want to just reiterate, when you are sending that image to your client of the product, it will only send the image. No other details will be sent, okay? So let's go ahead and demonstrate what it's like to add a product on the go. So all I need to do here is click the plus button and this menu pops up. And I'm going to click on product. I can add a photo from my camera, take an image. I'm going to use that one. And here, just like you might be used to adding a product using the clipper or adding it directly to your product library, you have the ability to add this directly to a project. Let's say I came across this and I'm like, Jen is going to love this chair. I need to show it to her. I'm going to add it directly to her project over here. Add my title. This is one that is an internal title. If you ever need to change the title on a client-facing document, you certainly can. So I'm just going to call this chair dining room. Add my description. Once again, I have that talk to text. I'm just going to call this wood chair for dining room. I can add all of my pricing details. And this is so easy to do, especially when you're on the go. I just imagine, I've seen so many designers going to market and taking photos of images with the tag, and it's so hard to navigate through hundreds of photos that you see. But when you see that perfect piece for that client, here, this gives you the ability to add it directly to your library and show it to your client. So I can just associate a vendor, add my description, my SKU, manufacturer, all the details that I need, any notes that I have that talk to text ability as well, and I'm going to save it. Okay, it's super, super easy to add it to add a product. You'll see it right over here in my product library now. And of course, I added it directly to my project, my Madison Park project. I will be able to see it in my Madison Park project as well. Okay, so we can even go to that right now together, products, and it would appear here. I think we called it dining room chair, chair for the dining room. There it is. Right over here is a draft product specific to Madison Park. Okay. Great. So before we go any further, there are a couple more things that I want to go through, but let me just see if we've received any questions that have come in during this time. Great. So Sean is asking, how do team members log in? Hey, Sean, everybody can log in using their Ivy email address and password. It's super easy. I literally just logged in using my normal credentials. So all you would need to do, I'm going to log out right now. All you would need to do is click login manually, enter your email address and password associated with your Ivy membership. Of course, each of your team members has a specific email address associated with their Ivy membership, and they can simply log in. Okay. Salad is asking, can time be filtered by job or client? Yes, actually, all of the time that you log for your projects is already filtered by client or project because Ivy is a project-based system. So anything that you do has to be done within the project anyways. So you'll see over here, I happen to be in my Madison Park project and I click on time billing, and this is all of my time billing specific to Madison Park. Again, project-based system, you live and die within the project, so to speak. Nadia is asking, when using the app and you want to connect with a client, how do you sync it to your Outlook mailbox and not your mail? So what happens, well, I mean, on me, I'm on an iPhone right now. So if I want to contact a client, by default on my iPhone, my Gmail address is the one that is associated with my iPhone. You can always simply click on the from and you'll see all of the other email addresses that I have. So if you do want Outlook to be one of the options here, your Outlook address, you would simply need to set it up as one of your email mailboxes on or email addresses associated with your account on your iPhone. So here I can always switch this to ivy.co, for example. Okay. I'm going to delete that draft again. Laura is asking, does the product library show the source? Are you referring perhaps by source to the vendor? If so, at a glance, it will not show at a glance. However, if I do click on more information, you'll see right over here, it will show you all of the relevant product details that you have added. Yesterday, we had an Ivy Academy in Chicago, by the way, and one of the big takeaways there by the designers who attended was that you want to make your product library as accurate as you possibly can because that will make your life so much easier in the long run. Okay, so Leanne is asking, can you scan a QR code or barcode when at market to quickly add a product? That's a great question, Leanne. I don't know how QR codes or barcodes would work here, but if you can add it as an image, which, you can always, when you create a product, you can add an image as the associated image. I don't know that it would actually populate the information, but that's a really great suggestion and a really great call. So I'll definitely pass that along to our mobile team because that would be really cool. And I would love some more information about how that works for you. Mary's asking, how can you add a product from the internet in the app? From the internet, it would be the same way. You would simply have to take a screenshot. We don't have like a clipper for mobile internet. So if you are on the internet on your desktop, simply use the Ivy Clipper. Otherwise, just as you do normally, you can simply upload an image from your library and add all of the product details. Okay. Rebecca is asking, if you make a phone call through the app, will it track the time? No, it will not. That's interesting though, but no, it will not. I would recommend starting the stopwatch first, calling your client through the app, and then as soon as you're done, just log the time there. That's a really great way. Quinn is asking, is there a way to see all my time billing per day on a calendar as opposed to only seeing time and project? At this time, no, it does not. Your time billing does not sync to a calendar. In Ivy, I'm going to just skew over here for a second. Ivy does have a time billing report, which is a really great report, especially if you have other team members on your project or in your account. And this will allow you to break down your time billing per day. So you actually have two different ways that you could pull your time. So let's say we just want to show time billing for today. We can pull it across all of my projects, and we can pull it by date or by service breakdown. So let's say you have design service, travel, admin, etc. This is going to be the best way, is just pulling a report for your time billing. Alternatively, you can always see in your project dashboard, both on mobile and on desktop, you can always see the breakdown of just hours in general, billable hours. Oh, Laura clarified her question about, I believe you had asked earlier, does the product library show the source? Does it show the source to the client? Absolutely not. One thing that Ivy is really serious about is protecting the integrity of designers and protecting as much as we can in today's world of e-commerce and online shopping, to protect you from getting shopped from your clients. So one thing that obviously we can't control is Google. Anybody who knows how to use Google will know how to use Google. But anytime you add any vendor-facing information like SKU, manufacturer, vendor description, the vendor itself, your markup, that will never be shown to your client unless you explicitly want them to see it. You need to include it in the client-facing description. Otherwise, all that simply happens is they see the image, the title that you give them, the description that you want them to see, the total cost all in with the markup inclusive, so that they don't know that there is actually a markup. No vendor information is shared there. Okay. So with that, let me move on and go through a couple more things in the app that you should definitely know about. And the first thing that I want to show you is about the ability to add attachments. And this is kind of everything that we do at Ivy is in phases. So while we have so many amazing ideas that we want to implement into Ivy, there are building blocks that we need to go through. And so one of the building blocks to eventually soon being able to track expenses on the app, the first part of that was the ability to add attachments directly to a project. So for those of you that have used Ivy online, you'll know that you have the ability to simply add attachments to a project, whether that's before photos, after photos, if you want to upload your liability letter of agreement, anything, you can upload it there. And now you have the ability to do so directly on the go with our app. So what's great here is this allows you, like I said, it's basically the precursor to recording and tracking expenses on the go. And so what you can do here is toggle over within your project to the attachment section and simply click add attachment. So you have a couple different options that pop up here. The first is to create a room measurement. We're going to assume that maybe you're at Madison Park, the project's location, and you want to take a quick room measurement, which I'll show you how to do in just a second. Great. Otherwise, you can upload a file or upload a photo from the gallery, from your phone's gallery. The files, it depends whether you are using an iPhone or a Android device. If you are using an Android device, this would speak directly to your Google Drive. If you're using an iPhone, this would speak to your iCloud Drive. It's the files that are automatically shared with your phone. So it's the file repository in your phone. So let's show you again. I have an iPhone. Let's look at what that looks like. So I'm simply going to click on upload file, and you'll see here, these are all different files that I have shared with people on my phone. I can see all of them here. And this is something that if you use iCloud Drive, you'll know iCloud files, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But this is a really great way for you to see all the files and attach them directly to your project. So I'm simply going to add my Ivy logo right over here as an attachment. And it's going to be that top one. And again, my internet in my shared office space right now is a little bit slower, so that's why the image is not showing up, but the image would show up right over there normally. Okay. So you can always add it directly here. Of course, any attachments that you included to a client on a document like a proposal or an invoice will also populate in this attachment section as well. Okay. Perfect. So we've already gone through to-dos, time billing, products, attachments, all the fun stuff within the project. The last part about Ivy's mobile app, which I really love, which was so exciting for us, is the ability to create a room measurement directly from your mobile app. So let's go ahead and demo this right now. Just to let you know what I will have to do, I'm going to have to unplug my headphones and speak like this, so I hope that you can still hear me okay. So let's go ahead and create a room measurement. The way that we're going to do this is by clicking on the plus button, clicking on room measurement, and I want to give you a heads up that this will lag a little bit, so just bear with me. My voice might speak faster than the video is showing. So all you need to do is, when you find the first corner, you're simply going to point and click on this, the circular button to indicate that there is a corner. Once you do that, all you need to do is move the phone, tilt it until you find the next corner, and continue the process on the other side. And continue it again. And bring it all together. Oops. Let me undo that last one. Perfect. So it looks like it might be frozen on your screens. I will show you, just because it looks like it is frozen. Let me go ahead and pull up a video to show you instead, which will indicate exactly how this works, because I do apologize. Like I said, there is a lag time. So it didn't quite go as clear as I wanted it to, but let me go ahead and show you exactly what that looks like. So let's go ahead and enter our help center. This is a great way for you to also, by the way, find any resources that you need. And so if you are looking for the mobile app links, you can find them right over here. Just search for mobile app and you'll find everything that we need to know. The links to download the app from the App Store and the Google Play Store. And let's go ahead and watch this together, our room measuring tool. So if you have any questions about how this works, this will clear it up for you. So the first thing that you're going to do, tap the corners and follow it along until you find all of the corners. Again, just tap, tap, tap. Super easy. Bring it all together. And then you can measure the doors, any windows that are associated with this space. And it's a really quick room measurement tool. It's so cool. And it will save it as a PDF to your project attachments. So it's really such a helpful tool when you're on the go. And personally, I'm a huge fan of it. I'm really, really excited by it. I know that a lot of our designers are excited by this as well. But you can make the title of the room measurement tool, of the room measurement that you take, you can make the title of the room. You know, it's just a really helpful tool to have on the go. Okay. So with that, let me go ahead and go through any additional questions that we have. Oh, you'll see right over here, I'm still lagging on this, but this was my own room measurement here in the office. So let's go ahead and go through some questions as we wrap up our mobile app webinar today. Selid is asking, can attachments be renamed? Yes, they can actually. Let me show you how that works in the Ivy in the IV app as well as on desktop. So I'm going to start on desktop over here. First of all, you can rename them on the individual invoice or wherever you are including, wherever you are sending that, that attachment. So over here we're in the IV desktop version, of course, there's a little pencil button. I'm going to just zoom in over here, which you can click on and rename. Okay. You can also do that in on any document. So let's say I have an invoice on which I am attaching an item. I can always, let's say I'm going to add an attachment right over here. This is my mom's flyer. I can always click the pencil button right over there. And then let's see what it looks like over here on mobile. So I'm in my attachment section. I can just click on the 3 buttons in the top right-hand corner over here and click on rename. Okay, so you could do that in 3 different places. So lots of ways for you to rename an attachment. Sky is asking, if I have the Google Drive app downloaded on my iPhone, how can I upload from Google Drive into Ivy? So when you're adding an attachment, and again, this is on an iOS device, this is on my iPhone. If you say upload file, it should feed from your Google Drive. Everything that you see here should be from your Google Drive. In this case, because this is an iPhone, this is coming from my iCloud Drive. So anything that I've shared on my phone, this is all of the files, like my file repository on my phone. Okay. Okay. Katie is asking, you just mentioned that you could see a proposal or invoice in attachments. No, you can see an attachment on a proposal or an invoice, what I said, or what I meant to say if I didn't say that. So in the future, I believe we will be having the ability to view proposals or invoices, not necessarily to edit them, because it's just hard to do on a small screen. The use case is just really limited. So you can see attachments or any attachments that have been added to a proposal or invoice you can view in the app right now. Okay. Hi, Kathleen. Kathleen Blake is asking, with an iPhone, for adding an attachment, did you take those screenshots within the Ivy app, or how did you get the screenshots from iPad or desktop? So actually, these are all screenshots that I've taken on my desktop, and they live because my Apple computer, I have an Apple computer and I also have an iPhone. It speaks to it. It's like it all lives in the cloud. So these are all screenshots that I've literally taken from on my desktop itself. I've shared them with people. So this is just my iCloud file repository. So any files that you've taken when logged into your iPhone device or your iOS device should appear here. Okay. Amanda, how accurate are the room measurements? Pretty darn accurate. All you need to do is make sure that they're as accurate as can be. The key point that I would say is that you just want to make sure that they are straight, but they are super accurate. You can always, when you're first getting started, just if it brings you comfort, double up and make sure that it is in line with your room measurements that you would normally take by hand, just until you get the hang of it. But as long as you're matching the corners and you're not kind of tilting out of control, it's super, super accurate. Okay. Judith is saying, how did you get to the measuring tool? I missed that part. Sorry about that, Judith. Just clicking this bottom plus button over here will show you kind of all of the different options that you have. So I clicked the bottom plus button and I clicked on room measurement. And again, this will delay, so I don't really want to show it because it's too large to do. And lastly, Lenore is asking, can you measure for window detail, space between the window and crown? This is going to be a super, I'm going to say basic room measurement, but you can absolutely measure doors, windows, in terms of the spacing in between. That is something that you'll have to check out for yourself. I'm unfortunately not a designer, so I don't know how to measure that or what would need to be measured, but you can absolutely measure any of the windows, any of the doors that are in a area. And let me actually show you an example, because I don't think that we did see an example of what the finalized floor plan would look like. This is my conference room floor plan, for example, in my Madison Square Park project. It is branded with my firm's information, and it has right over here all of the area, the perimeter, and this is one door. I did not measure any windows, but it allows you to just literally create this in a matter of seconds. Okay. Seled, can you add a new project from the app? Actually, you cannot. You have to create all of your projects in Ivy, and then you will be able to see them in your app. And you know, the reason being, I don't know how many of you have recently created a project, but it does require a lot of information to get a project started. Obviously, you can include as little information as simply the title, the client, the address, and the sales tax. But truly, to create a new project, let me just go ahead and click Create New Project. You'll see that there's so much information that you need to add here. By the way, for those of you that are wondering, the images that I have on the app of all of the projects, it comes right over here from the project cover photo. But there is a lot of information that you could set over here for your project settings and whatnot. So this is not doable via the app yet. Definitely create it on desktop, and then you can access it and add anything that you need to directly from the app itself. Okay. Mary is asking, can you add a product without adding it to a specific project, but rather to your library? Yes, of course, absolutely. Actually, that's what we did earlier with the chair, with the dining room chair. All you need to do is click on product, add all the specific details. If you want to, you have the ability to add it directly to a project as a draft item. However, that is not necessary. No matter what you do, when you add a product here, it will save to your product library, which is also visible on the desktop. So remember, we added that dining room chair. We should be able to see over here in our Ivy product library on the desktop, that same dining room chair that we added via the mobile app. All right, Judith, last question. Any other questions that we can't get to, please feel free to reach out to support@ivy.co or watch a replay here. Judith is asking, can you use the Ivy app on an iPad? Yes. I believe so. It's for iOS. So yes, I believe that you can. Yes, okay, iPad or iPhone. Excellent. Glad we figured that one out together. Yes, it is all available on the different iOS systems that you can utilize. Okay. So with that, I'm going to just turn my camera on again, just to say how wonderful it's been to share Ivy's mobile app with you. We're so excited about this. This is such an amazing benchmark on our journey on Ivy to create the best system for you, to make your workflow the most efficient it can be. We are so open to any feedback that you can provide. Of course, one thing that I didn't actually show, let me show you right now. If you do experience a bug on the mobile app, which we certainly hope you do not, but of course, you know, we can't control everything. So software is software at the end of the day. Over here, you can simply go to account and click on report a bug, and it will send it directly to our developer, Uri, who is responsible for the mobile app, which is so amazing. Like you have direct visibility, you have a direct pipeline to our development team. And that is such a special part of Ivy. We really take your feedback seriously. This is something that we really want to continue to build and grow and make it the best that it can be for you. So take advantage of that. Use our pipeline that we provide to you. So that's right over there. And with that, I'm so excited that you all were able to join me today. It's been so amazing being here with you. So thanks again for joining me, and I'll talk to you all soon. Happy Thanksgiving.